Because speaking of stabbing, I mean, it was 2004 when John Cena got stabbed, quote unquote. And I was like, they stabbed John Cena. Like, no, is he going to be okay? But, you know, I didn't know at that time that it was, scripted. I just like, oh my God, they stabbed John Cena. Then he makes the return and they filmed and it's like, they're like, Eddie Guerrero's looking at the stab wounds. And then like you see John Cena all these years later, you never see any stab wounds, no scars, no nothing.
Was that around the time when John Cena dropped that rap? That was before or after?
Which one? That's the thing. I mean, which rap are you talking about specifically?
About Eddie Guerrero saying he can't be U.S.
Oh,
champion.
that was the year before in 03. This is 04 John Cena, who's going to get the U.S. title from Carlito. And this is Eddie Guerrero, face Eddie Guerrero.
Hey, man. Carlito, Puerto Rican, so.
I mean, there's a good promo after that where I think I shared it that day on at the BVD pod where John Cena's like, Carlito is very cool, the way he talk, the way he walk, he's very cool. And then that's when he's wearing the dope Word Life hoodie, which, I mean, to get one of those now, if you're hearing one, I mean, I guess the one I'm wearing right now, unless WWE does a restock, they even restocked the first one, the one with his hands, the purple collared one and all that. But if you're hearing this, you know what it is. We apologize for being off last week. Scheduling got in the way. But if you maybe heard us on Show Your Work earlier in the week and then on Black Announce Table's Patreon, where we had a fun discussion and kind of talked about the show as a whole. But last Saturday, it was the 1 year anniversary of the first episode of what was then unnamed. It was probably going to be a John Cena pod is what we figured out, because we just talked about the WWE being told the champ is here. And then at the end, Banks said, like, yeah, I just talked with a friend of mine about who's the bigger psychopath, Tom Cruise or Michael Jordan. I was like, I'd like to talk about that because those are two of my favorite people in the world, which is crazy to say. That one's, a gambling addict, and the other is a legit lunatic who believes in space science and worms and portals and all that shit. But to each their own. And that snowballed into a show that was they called us Mad Men for 20-something episodes, I think, 20, 30. And then, again, I hated the title, just because if you abbreviate the name of that show, you should never say it to anyone in terms of, I'll recommend T-Cum to you. And they'd be like, the fuck did you just say to me? Again, it'd be like family, the fuck you just say?
I recommend the T of you should listen to it.
Oh.
Pour into your ears. Not you.
But that led to the rebranding of the show that we know, that y'all know now as Banks versus Davis, And today we thought it'd be great to celebrate the one true GOAT of professional wrestling, the champ, the doctor of thugonomics, the leader of C Nation, the chain gang soldier. I mean, one John Felix Anthony Cena Jr. Damn, that shit's loud. I'm like my ear. I'm legit like fisticuffs. But yeah, Banks. Why? Well, again, do you actually believe John Cena is the GOAT? Because I would say he probably is. He's my GOAT, my personal GOAT. But I think he is the greatest WWE superstar of all time.
It took me up until that match with Roman Reigns to realize more than likely he's the GOAT. Now, me and you are from two different eras. So with me, I'm from that era of Stone Cold, The Rock, Mankind, Undertaker, etc. from the Attitude Era. So with me, I still feel as if John Cena is the greatest WWE worker of all time. But I'm conflicted because I have to realize at my age, I saw in real time Stone Cold and The Rock. Because it's between those three. It's nobody else. No disrespect to Mankind and The Undertaker. But It's those, and Shawn Michaels as well. It's those three, hands down. So right now, I still feel like John Cena is the GOAT, but it's either him or The Rock. I'll just say that. If I got to choose between the two, it's between those two.
I would say those three are accurate in terms of the big three, because not the fact that we just got Hulk Hogan the fuck out of here, but again, they had pay-per-views every 4 months. He wrestled on TV rarely. He was just cutting bullshit promos and having bullshit matches. So, granted, he can sell out numerous places on the strength of the persona and the gimmick and all that. But Austin, the reason that, again, Austin was working every day, every week, every month, had a pay-per-view and all that. And The Rock was 1B to his 1A. But the thing was that they both had short runs as those top guys. Austin's is like a 4.5 year period from 97 to 01. Kind of because you really don't want to count 02 when he was on his way out. And The Rock, again, becoming Rocky Maivia in 98. I mean, going from Rocky Maivia to The Rock in 98. Again, his run kind of ends in 02 as well with the Brock Lesnar match, and then he's sporadic. So I'd say that they both started and peaked at the same time. John Cena picks it up, and then for, you gotta say, at least 10 years, carried the ball until they finally put on Roman Reigns' shoulders in 2016. But even then, John Cena was still there to do everything. And I think you have to factor in him being great on the mic, a merch seller, selling out venues, while the company is in a state where it's not as popular to be a wrestling fan, but then it rises back up in this decade, the 2010s, even though ratings don't show that, but that's a different metric to measure. But also, he's someone who improved every single year with his matches, and that's what we'll kind of get to over the course, is like, some more favorite matches, some more favorite promos he had. But this guy, you literally see the evolution of this guy from ruthless aggression, slapping Kurt Angle, to, like you said, the Roman Reigns match at SummerSlam of this year.
Yeah, it's even that Nasty Man Flair even said we'll never see a run like that, like a 10-year run from 05 until, like you said, 2015, 2016 is when it was like, all right, even if it ended right now, it's been an insane run. Like, you don't see runs like that except for in the NBA, and more so
LeBron James, yeah, which again makes him a 1-of-1.
Exactly, where people talked about him from the beginning, then the decision, and then still talking about him now. Same thing with John Cena. I remember when John Cena debuted, and he had to do the gimmick or else he was about to get out of here, as he said during the Ruthless Aggression documentary, which we need the next couple parts whenever those are coming out.
I was just watching that before we started. Yeah, and again, like he says, again, if you don't know right now, that's Banks. This is Davis. Banks versus Davis. If you are tuning into the John Cena tribute show, because if you love John Cena, you're right to call him the GOAT. If you don't like John Cena, we are going to tell you why you should. Even though I can understand the detractors of John Cena, but at the end of the day, you're still wrong. Because like you said, LeBron, I think, is a fair comparison. 03, John Cena, really takes off with the Doctor of Economics, World Life. They steadily improve. And kind of that same period of 07, 08, where LeBron's having to do all the work himself, with Sasa Pavlovich and an old Wally Zerbiak, Eric Snow, Boobie Gibson. John Cena's matches aren't the best, and it's already the boo whenever he comes out, but he's still the top guy, and you can't deny it. But then come, 2010, 2011, Heat LeBron, finally goes to the finals again, and then ultimately loses, and but then fully develops as a player, just like John Cena in 11 with the CM Punk feud, which we'll get to again, some of his best rivals. You see that John Cena can work, and it's not just with someone who's a great worker, but then after that, he has a variety of good matches. Not that he didn't before, but he took it up from then on. Like, I'm going to show everyone. That's why he incorporates the fucking springboard stunner, or he does a code red, or stupidly tries a Hurricane Rana that almost breaks his own neck, like how Scott Steiner would try to do it off the Irish Irish whip rebound. But again, so you got to see it from the beginning. I got to see it. First pay-per-view I ever remember seeing was WrestleMania 20. He comes out in the Patrick Ewing jersey. He's rapping. I don't know anything he's saying. I'm not able to comprehend like the references where he's talking about like Big Show. He's got small nuts and all that. But then he punches Big Show with the chain after throwing the brass knucks and like lifts him up. And I'm like, I always use this reference because it's accurate. Like in the first Batman, when Commissioner Gordon sees Batman, he's like, my God. You see this man lift up a guy who's like, again, 7 foot, 500 pounds and just dumps him over. Again, John Cena is only 6 foot. But he's built like Captain America. He's got the super soldier serum. You think he's short? You think he's 5'11"?
Yeah. I mean, he was just towering over Johnny Gargano. They said Johnny Gargano is 6 foot. That's a lie.
But I'm just looking up to make sure. But you got to. Did you see him when he debuted in the Ruthless Aggression? Did you catch that live when he was wearing the basic trunks and that represented the home teams?
I remember everything. I remember the match on Velocity with Daniel Bryan, if I'm not mistaken. I seen that. I've seen from the beginning to now. I was there. What's that Sean Waltman saying? I was there.
But yeah, and since then, he was a fixture as like the U.S. champ. And I always thought it was the coolest thing that he was wearing the throwbacks, the sport jerseys. I just thought that was like the coolest thing ever, even though I barely knew who some of these guys were. I just like knew sports had jerseys, and I was like, that's awesome. I mean, and that's kind of thing in hindsight when you go back and watch now, like he's got like, who's that on? Like he has the Moses Malone Spirit of St. Louis, jersey when he makes probably one of the greatest entries of all time. The greatest moment in WWE draft history is that one in 05, which I remember my dad telling me that, they like John Cena got drafted to Raw, and I was like, what? And then Raw had both champs, and it was that great period of both champs on one show. He comes in and like cuts the great promo on Christian, and then does like, here's a 5-second pose, and then counts down, and then flips him off. He's like, that's how you roll. I know Christian's your guy, but you got to admit that, like, again, John Cena like got the best of them on the mic, and we'll get to that in terms of like his feud with one Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock, who he just like eviscerates into the center of the earth.
Yeah.
But what was your favorite aspect of the early days of John Cena?
He kept changing. And I mean in a good way, just because he came out like the squeaky clean baby face, and he was doing that top rope crossbody. That was like his finisher. And then from there, he did the Vanilla Ice thing at Halloween, on the Halloween segment they had. And then from that, he was like, oh, I could do this all the time. And then it was right on the money, like you said, with the throwback jerseys, because in 03, 04, people were wearing throwback jerseys, and them motherfuckers was costing.
Yeah.
It was $300 or more, depending on who it is.
I think he did all this without a Mitchell and Ness deal, too. Even though he said he had a hookup at Mitchell and Ness, it was the same thing. Like he had a hookup with the Reebok pumps. Because when you watch those early days of him as the rapper, he's wearing, again, like not the bucket hats, like the long pants at first. It's a really kind of old school, weird rap look. But then he fully gets like what basically, again, everyone was wearing at that time, long jean shorts, which, again, who would have thought like 18 years later that would have stuck with him.
Right.
And then the throwbacks again, and he's got, the rarest of rare.
Yeah, he had the Joe Namath, I know, was like $400 or $500.
Oh, the Alabama Joe Namath.
Yeah, that like the ones that had the Hall of Fame players in their colleges, those were actually more than the actual teams that they played for in the major leagues. So for him to have those, he definitely had to connect, because I'm not pocket counting. I know he's making a significant amount of money with WWE, but to have those and bring them on the road and they still crispy, he definitely has some type of plug. And I mean, Mitchell and Ness is in Boston, right?
I think so, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah, so he good. Yeah, I think they are. Let me look it up, but I think they are.
Come here, John. We got a couple of jerseys for you over here. We got you Kevin McHale. We got you, Bobby Orr. And that was the thing. When he's the heel, he's wearing the hometown team's rival. Like in Boston, even though he's from Boston, he's wearing the Yankees jersey and the Yankees beanie. But then when he comes to face, he starts like in Great American Bash 04, they're in Virginia. He's wearing the Mike Vick Virginia Tech jersey. Just to be able to do both is awesome. Again, like when No Way Out in 04 was at the Cow Palace, he had the Willie, I think it was a Billy Mays, not Willie McCovey, Mitchell Ness, like the V-neck jerseys, not the button baseball jerseys, the V-neck ones. And that was always one of my favorite things, like, who are these guys on the back of the jersey? And as I think that was maybe one aspect that fascinated me about getting into sports was seeing him wear all these jerseys. Do you have any favorites off the top of your head?
I'm pulling them up right now, but Mitchell and Ness is actually in Philly, which I messed up on.
Oh, okay. I think they might have a store in Boston, but I mean, Philly's not too far from Boston.
Yeah, definitely. The Moses Malone one I like a lot. He had a couple of, I'm trying to think which basketball ones he had, because the Patrick Ewing was cool. The Patrick Ewing one actually wasn't that much.
I know he had the like the old ABA Pacers jersey, the Indiana, and then he had the old Spurs one.
Yeah, the George Gervin. A lot of people had that George Gervin.
Again, like you just put up, when he became the Dr. Thugonomics again against The Rock, he rocked the Mark Price with the Converse, I think, Weapon XO shoes. Him and the Walter Payton. I think that he wears the Brian Urlacher in that street fight. I mean, parking lot brawl with Eddie Guerrero after he cut the very problematic promo. And that was the thing about him being the heel. So the whole time he's a rapper, again, like I was saying, at the time, I didn't see as much as like him being, again, the heel. I saw the face version of the Dr. Thugonomics. So when you watch those promos back and he's talking, there's always like dick jokes and masturbation where he's like, one where like he's wearing the Harlem Globetrotters fit. He's like, "We inmates, Brock, and you just dropped the soap." It's like, God damn, like.
Remember what he said to what was the Japanese worker that had the girl that used to come out with
that's the Kenzo Suzuki.
Something about I could paint her face or something like that.
You said old girl with the white face paint. Like, yeah, I can help you with that.
I said, son. But remember the freestyle he had with the little kid outside that they didn't show. It was like a behind the scenes video.
The indie show where if you watch that on YouTube, John Cena freestyle battle, him and this he's making like him and this kid are really going at it. Like, and again, he's got like a Russell Athletic Michigan State jersey on. But yeah, like he would do the rap battles with Kurt Angle of all people, Rikishi, Brian Kendrick, who was Spanky at that time.
You know the reason why he called himself that, right?
Yeah. I guess again, if we're talking about John Cena and being like, Ryan was rocking a horn on his head, I'm rocking a horn in my shorts. You can assume why someone would call themselves Spanky.
Yeah.
It was that time again. The WWE humor in the early 2000s was dick, or poop jokes. Like,
you know what's crazy though? Rikishi could actually rap.
Yeah.
Him and God bless Yokozuna. No, for real. They say Yokozuna.
No, I know. I'm you know, that bitch fine like a motherfucker. You said it like that. Like, you know, Yokozuna could rap, you know. He could spit.
Bruh.
And that's like, you know, and he says in that Great Ruthless Aggression doc where like he had to stop that once he realized that all the kids were wearing his merch, and then he becomes, you know, sucks to say, but like the Hulk Hogan of that era, you know, never give up, hustle, loyalty, respect, which are better than like say your prayers, eat your vitamins, fuck out of here. You're taking steroids, you unreligious bitch.
Well, that's the prayer. Hope these steroids don't get jammed on my ass.
Or jam me up with the feds.
Almost. That documentary is coming soon, or that TV show.
But so that's the thing. So you're seeing it again. You're only a few years older than me, but so again, we have both dynamics. You're seeing, you can appreciate the heelness, and then once he maybe becomes that poster boy of the company, I'm hooked. I'm 9 years old when I see WrestleMania 20. So like this again, this is supposed to be my Hogan, and I stuck with him the entire time. I mean, again, even when it got to like him being like JBL is poopy, or like him with all the super colorful shirts, I was like, I don't care. Like John, he's still my favorite wrestler.
He understands marketing. That's what's so great about it. If you look at what we're saying with the throwback jerseys, and I'm seeing kids, which is still wild that kids start becoming a fan of his. And he was saying obscure shit. But from him being with the throwback jerseys to like, oh shit, the kids mess with me. Let me change my whole marketing strategy with this so I can start getting some bread off this and the merch moves. That's how you become the top guy. From there to the Proud Boy gimmick in 06, 07, even though he didn't go to the military.
Whoa. That wasn't that part. It wasn't because of a proud. Nah, he was promoting the Marine. Again, we'll get to the acting part of his career as well. When he was just John Triton, real stretch there in terms of names. But yeah, no, I think he really took that on, and that was still the height of not to get political, like George Bush and the war, and WWE was heavy into tribute for the troops at that time. That was that era. So it made sense that he was also trying to appeal to that fan base. And like anytime they would show like WWE, it's like, well, we have John Cena supports the troops. We can't be that bad. It's like, true, fair enough. But he kind of scaled that back and became, again, the superhuman Super Cena with, again, who could always come back from an injury quicker than the timetable said. They say he was supposed to be like 8 months after that torn pec. He was back 4 months later. This man regenerates like Wolverine, which I would say right now, if it came out that John Cena was on steroids, I would probably be heartbroken.
I don't know. Some should have came out by now. I feel like something by now. I don't care how popular you are. By now, something would have came out. It's been 20 years down there.
Yeah, and it came out that he was, maybe possibly a philanderer. I mean, we don't officially know him and Mickie James were hooking up, as Kenny Dykstra likes to say. But again, John Cena was married at that time, and then John Cena gets divorced and starts dating Nikki Bella.
Also, they was just hating.
Kenny Dykstra?
Yeah, that sounds like a hater to me.
Yeah, I mean, again, he was Kenny of the Spirit Squad. And
Doll's still working. And
do you think Mickie James is like, yeah, I'm good with, this basically glorified jobber, but like John Cena is like, right. Again, if you watch those backstage segments in 08, they got a weird vibe to them between him. There was like 3 straight weeks of John Cena and Mickie James backstage segments, whereas like John Cena trying to fuck Mickie James, like what's going on? And like he takes a drink of like, I think JBL's alcohol or something like that, whatever, like I forget what he would call it, but John Cena just like, it's a super small like airplane bottle. He's like just like oversells like the fuck out of it. And that was that time when he had the dope,
he's just like me,
where he had the dope video game NES wrestling shirt, which I also have. When they restocked that, I bought one. Yeah,
you do? Because I'm looking for that one.
No, my cousin gave me one a few years after, but it was just not gonna fit. Then when I saw that they restocked it, I was like, I gotta get this now, because who knows when I'll ever get it again. And that's all his shirts for the most part had dope designs. I mean, the football jerseys I always liked. When he had that Marine one, that was dope. But then at WrestleMania 24, he has the 54, and that's when he had like the whole like kind of Pitbull gimmick going on with his shirts, where like the beware of dog, it says hustle the team respect. And the next year he does the AWA type designs. I always liked him. And then it sucked when The Rock started making fun of him for all the colors. Like you look like a bowl of Fruity Pebbles, which then again, John Cena being a good person at branding and marketing got a fucking Fruity Pebbles deal out of that. And I love Fruity Pebbles. They're delicious. I mean, it's crack, but it's delicious.
Right, I ain't fucking with that. Your teeth would be gone, big fella. I can't even eat most sugar products these days.
But again, the chance of like Fruity Pebbles, And he's, again, Elimination Chamber 2011. He's backstage eating a bowl of Free Publix, going like,
thank you for the deal.
Check's clear either way. Just because
Right.
Dwayne Johnson, isn't getting deals like that. And you know what? Dwayne Johnson getting no fucking Versace deal as The Rock. Come on. I mean, that's their fault for missing out on it, but still.
Well, that's when wrestling they was perceived to be crap. Like if it was 2021.
Oh no, that was the time where again they should have got in on it. But then they would have said like it's Versace's not selling. I mean, isn't selling because of The Rock, like how Ralph Lauren tried to say like the rappers aren't the reason Ralph Lauren was going crazy all the whole year. But it's like, no, it actually is.
Yeah, which is a big lie. Versace. You can't even spell Versace.
Versace?
Versace.
Saying it Versace. But and then to like wrap up that aspect, I mean, more or less he stuck with the same gimmick post 2005. There was still some edge off and on, no pun intended. When again, when he was fighting Edge, he kind of brought back the rapping. Again, he'd rap about Lita being a slut, which not his words, not mine.
I ain't mad at it.
Man, the whole like she's Navajo, and then the promo boy meets hoe meets boy.
Why was they talking about her like that?
Oh, the poor woman, Amy Dumas. But again, that's her penance for doing what she did to Matt Hardy, I guess.
Well, I think Vince probably was like,
"Oh yeah,
man, listen, they better than me." I'll be like, "I'm next. I'm next."
That was the gimmick. Was that like she was like giving Vince McMahon head, and Vince McMahon, I mean, John Cena was like, "You got some oral persuasion on your pants there." Like, god damn, like what the fuck's going on?
Hey man, listen, she bought 40 something. She still get this work
to this day.
To this day, son.
But yeah, he showed some. I mean, they try to make him kind of the heel against The Rock, just because he like. We'll just get to it now. Him versus The Rock. Again, it was a feud of all feuds because we never got Hogan versus Stone Cold, which thank God that Stone Cold wouldn't give Hogan the satisfaction of working with him. You're like, I ain't gonna put him over, son. Hell no. Fuck him. Pizza trash.
Yeah, because I remember the Dirt Sheets was talking about that for years.
Yeah. Again, it all had to do with Hulk Hogan pushing Steve Austin out of WCW. So once Stone Cold becomes a big star, like, oh, you ain't gonna ride my coattails, son.
Well, that and he's like, I said the word in the longest yard.
Hey.
You said it behind the scenes.
God damn it. Not about Nelly. Whenever a fan brings that up, I don't like Stone Cold based on what he said to Nelly in the longest yard.
You can't do that to Nelly, bro. Nelly's a national treasure. He might be in trouble, but he's a national treasure.
Do you think that's who really John Cena modeled after the Doctor of Thuganomics look was Nelly? With the throwbacks and...
No, it was...
I know everyone was doing it, but like Nelly was the real prominent guy at that time. That was constantly his look.
Yeah, because he was rocking like the big jean shorts, but they was weird. They was like, it looked like Caprice pants kind of. So probably so, just because it's a lot of people, including yourself, probably because you was too young. Legit, Nelly was like the most popular rapper.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Like
yeah,
4 years.
I know there was that debate. I think it was really around the Nothing Was the Same time, where it's like who was big, because in a way to some people they were mirroring each other. Was Drake versus Nelly being a debate, which people saying like, again, Nelly sold 1 million in a week. But again, Drake does that with the streaming equivalent. Now, but at that time, it was still like you had to sell physical to show that you were big as people in the previous decade. But I know the Drake versus Nelly thing. And again, he still got commercials now. It's weird seeing him in a fucking Burger King commercial as Cornell Hayes Jr. Like, ain't no one give a fuck about your government name. The hell you doing out here?
And that threw me off. I'm like, why would they put his government name on Burger King?
It's them trying. This is why I always hated Burger King. Besides it being just awful, shitty food, is that because McDonald's is vastly superior. But it's them doing McDonald's had Travis Scott, J Balvin, and then Sweetie. Burger King is there doing their equivalent, but like with the real people.
But of all the real people, you go with Nelly. Like, I'm not trying to disrespect Nelly because I just gave him his flowers, but it's somebody
But no, but
younger.
you're saying they're doing this with Nelly 2021, not 2003 Nelly, where it's like, damn, you would have sold. I'm going Burger King right now. Shit.
Exactly. Like, yo, you can't get one with Spot 'em, Got 'em, Meek Mill, somebody like that. Give them Burger King. Wale, no, give him Hardee's.
No. Oh, God. Don't you ever mention Wally. God, that
give
NXT
him Arby's.
That NXT song is trash.
Well, who name did I just say? Give him Arby's. Give Wale Arby's.
So he can have the meats. Again, that's the guy who did the TNA commercials this Sunday at Final Resolution.
God bless. R.I.P. to him.
Oh yeah, he passed away. Yeah.
Yeah, last year. I'm like, damn.
Damn.
Their promos used to have me. I'm like, yeah, that shit better than WWE.
The Icon Sting faces the King of the Mountain, Jeff Jarrett, bound for glory. 2006, Kurt Angle makes his TNA debut
against Samoa Joe.
Yeah, the Samoan submission machine. Samoa Joe. Again, who, funny enough, had ties to John Cena's early days. And we'll kind of get to that in terms of the rivals. It's the program we didn't get that I wanted most in the past 5 years of wrestling was John Cena, Samoa Joe. I remember when they signed Kevin Owens to NXT, I was like, God, Kevin Owens and John Cena would be fucking amazing because Kevin Owens did that whole thing where he had the Sting kill shirts and the John Cena Rise Above Hate font. And I just thought their styles would work because they were similar height, but Kevin Owens could do more moves, but also would be a believable guy to a power wrestler for John Cena. I just thought their styles would match, and they did. They had a trio of great matches. I mean, that Elimination Chamber one is by far the best, but they had two really solid matches after that.
Right. Also, too, I'm thinking about it because remember, it was Frankie Kazarian, it was John Cena, Samoa Joe. Rick Baseman was actually their trainer out in the OC. That's like around the same time John Cena moved to out here, and he was actually training at Gold's Gym in Venice. So they were all training at the same time. I think it was one more person. I feel like it is one more person, but still, that's a pretty good training class. And no, that was 20 years ago, 21 years ago.
There was that documentary about that promotion, that UPW, if I'm not mistaken. I think the guy that was supposed to be the hot prospect along with John Cena was named Smelly or something like that. Because I remember watching that documentary and they show John Cena go into the grocery store and he was buying 6 cartons of eggs, 4 or 5 steaks, and 4 gallons of milk. And my dad's like, holy shit. And John Cena's like, yeah, this lasts me about a week. And my dad was just amazed that he had to eat all that. That was his diet, his weekly diet to maintain that shape. And again, as someone who clangs and bangs, you can respect the John Cena element of him in the gym. Again, whenever they show those videos, it's this is insane.
That's light work.
Which is why I would say I'd be heartbroken to find out that he was, hitting the other needle, not the heroin needle.
Nah, he's not on it too, and we talked about that. And I know what you mean because it's just joking matter. The reason why at 44 years old, he just got in the ring. He toned down, but he still maintained his shape. Usually when you take that shit, if you tone down, you will still have some type of fat on you. He's still the same exact weight. There's not a steroid that you can take at 44 years old to maintain that unless you working out ridiculously. But even then, his body would have failed him by now. He's still basically the same shape as he was 20 years ago. He just had to take off 10, 15 pounds.
And I think it has to do with the Hollywood thing of being too big. Again, it happened to The Rock at first, where he slimmed all the way down. Even though he wasn't too big to begin with, but you see The Rock in 99 and The Rock in 03, it's geez, what kind of happened to you? But The Rock was trying to take himself more seriously as an actor in terms of doing roles that weren't just action stars. Again, he did Be Cool and all that. Again, John Cena, it probably has to do with maybe Peacemaker more than anything about we can't fit the costume around you. You're too fucking big.
That's what it is. And then the thing is, we said it when Suicide Squad came out. Like, dude, he's still towering over people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Physically, and it was the thing with Batista too. You see Batista in 2006, and then you see Batista in 2014. Drastically different. Where again, he was the guy who, not notoriously, but was on the gas, but still.
In the beginning, he was on it. Like when he was
no, he was still at the end. He still was. And that's why he was always injured, because he was constantly tearing shit.
Well, that's probably why he said I can't do Guardians of the Galaxy 4 or whatever, just because at this age I won't be able to keep up.
Yeah. Again, we'll get to the movies at the end. We've kind of sprinkled some of it, but what are some of your favorite matches? Because I already said like the Kevin Owens one. Because the first decade, he relied on the stipulations to have great matches. But this past decade, the 2010s, the work rate, it was there. I think there's that great duality between the two of like someone who you had to use all these smoke and mirrors to showcase him as a good worker. But then come turn of the next decade, he's able to hold his own with multiple people in the ring. Not just the same person over and over and over. And that's the thing I always applauded with Roman Reigns early on, was like Roman Reigns was constantly having good matches with people besides Daniel Bryan and like Seth Rollins. It was like he was having a lot of good matches with everyone.
So I'm bringing up WWE's list of his greatest matches ever. Even though it's 50, unless you want to, we don't have to go through all 50, but I just want to highlight just the ones that they have. It's not video because for every podcast I do, when I put, and I knew this would happen. Yeah. But YouTube has really been like, nah, get the fuck up out of here. YouTube really been on it more than ever. But this is just WWE's top 50 matches, which is still insane to have 50 matches just for one person.
Yeah. I made a list a few years ago. I don't have it anymore, about 10 matches. And my whole thing was picking, not trying to use the same opponent twice to show, again, the variety that he's had. The JBL one, no. This, just scroll all the way, I'd say, to the top 25 to make it more. Because when was it published, first of all?
This was...
It should go back to where it kind of starts. It should say it right there, I'd imagine.
I don't see it. Let me go to the bottom and see if
it doesn't. But I think the obvious, I mean, the CM Punk Money in the Bank, that was a real showcase of like he had more than 5 moves. And that also had the storytelling aspect of like, is this going to be this generation's Montreal Screwjob? Like the whole stigma was CM Punk is the better wrestler, John Cena is the better superstar. But he showed, I think he hits like an Emerald Flosion and then some modified move where I was like, God damn, like he was going all the way out. And again, he does the famouser off the top rope. It already shows that this guy's, not some bum who can't wrestle. Like that takes a toll. Again, Batista catches him out of midair in their great SummerSlam match in 2008. All right, 25, Edge, him and Edge at Backlash. Not their best, but really good in Backlash 09, that last man standing match. And that's where I had said the promo to that is amazing, because that's when John Cena was like, I hate you, John. I hate your hat. I hate your music. I hate everything about you. And then John Cena does like the whole like Texas swing, like, how many times have we done this, Edge? Tables, ladders, chairs, steel cages, your dad, my dad, your hometown, my hometown. I'm just like, who is this man?
Where did he get this accent from?
Yeah, but that was the thing. I think remember I think it was Peter Rosenberg who actually said like there was like John Cena at certain times had like a preacher voice where like, oh yeah, tonight we got a great main event, like praise Jesus. He was just going full blown like over the top. But then he'd come back and do like the angry, serious, or like again sometimes in Boston, like in the prelude to Money in the Bank, he's like, "I'm going to beat, I hate Vince McMahon. I beat him up with my bare hands."
Yeah, they have, because the 09 match I don't remember as much as the 06 match.
Unforgiven, the 2000 at the TLC match. That one I just remember. They had a lot of good high spots in the ends. That Big Show choke slams him through the the light near the entrance.
Oh, I remember that vividly though.
Yeah, and that the next one, John Cena, Randy Orton, Breaking Point 09. See, we'll get to Rivals kind of after. That one's a good storytelling match, like an entertainment, full of emotion. I don't think him and Randy Orton really had good matches. They had good WWE matches. Like I'd say good. Again, the obvious of the last decade, probably more than the AJ Styles. I mean, other than the CM Punk, is the two AJ Styles matches. SummerSlam 2016, which was like the first one at Money in the Bank was all right, but like they held back. You can tell they didn't fully go for it then. But then SummerSlam, they're in the middle of the card, and they had that great match. You really see AJ Styles as the best pure wrestler in the world and of all time. One of my favorites, and I always dreamed when I started watching TNA in 05 that those two would have a match, and when they did, I was just in heaven because they were two of my favorite wrestlers of all time and still are. But that match was phenomenal. And then come top of the next year at Royal Rumble, just weeks after Okada Omega won, they probably, and the day after Andrade Gargano, and that fucking amazing match, they held up. Like to compete with those two matches, they more than did a great job. And that was the record tying reign at 16. What do you think of those matches?
No, I agree. And once we get to that, because that's definitely got to be in the top 5 of his matches as far as like the AJ Styles, the Kevin Owens, because it truly showed, and this is not towards the end of his career, obviously it's not over, but the tail end of his career, so to speak, which is the same thing, but in the sense of where he's at right now at this very moment, those showed that he could really, really wrestle, because it was a whole preconceived notion that he can't wrestle.
You can't wrestle.
Yeah, we saw it, especially in 06, same old shit.
Yeah, and famously at the One Night Stand pay-per-view, which he shows he can wrestle because he does like a fisherman suplex, and then he does like a double axe handle off the top rope to the outside. It's like Hulk Hogan wasn't doing that shit, and he couldn't wrestle at all.
Right, and he probably was still learning how to get better at what he was doing.
Exactly.
Shit, he was about 24, 25 around 06. No, 27, somewhere around that. But still, that's pretty young in this industry. 27, 28. And they put that's what people fail to realize too. They put the jetpack on this dude at a young age.
They saw the potential, I think. It's funny because the whole point of WrestleMania 21 was to elevate Batista. But then a month later, they realized, like, oh, John Cena is actually the guy that we want to push to the top.
And he had less attitude issues from what people say about Batista.
Batista's whole thing was he was already, again, an older guy. And I think that stigma being a Triple H guy might have hurt that as well, because you think you're a star from being with the star. Again, John Cena really had to like fight for his own, is how they tell it, which I believe. I don't think John Cena would lie about it. Again, the whole story about Stephanie McMahon is the reason he still has a job, I think, might be bullshit, because they always try to put her with anyone who's ever had success. It's all because of her. But maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Again, don't forget Triple H tries to shit on him like, John, you can't wrestle, when they have their match at WrestleMania 22. It's like, but Triple H, you can't wrestle either.
Right. Like, what are you talking about? And I can't even say that Triple H can't wrestle. It's just wrong time.
It's Spider-Man meme. Like, I know you ain't talking, Mr. Hell in a cell. You and me.
And then besides that, like you said, that the promos are always funny when you do that. And it's
Sledgehammer.
Like, John,
you think you're better. I was taught by Ric Flair. No, you fucking weren't. But no, I mean, I think John Cena, when you think about the three type of matches you can have the WWE match, which is all emotion. You can have Oh no, I mean you can have the emotion. You can have the WWE match, which maybe I'm thinking that could be like you can have the emotional match, the stipulation match, and then the pure wrestling match. John Cena has multiple of all threes. An emotional match is like Brock Lesnar, Extreme Rules 2012, one of my favorite matches ever. That's the epitome of Super Cena. Like Brock Lesnar beats his ass for like 15 minutes nonstop. John Cena barely gets any offense in, but then he hits an AA on the steps and he wins. Granted, that was Vince McMahon trying to pull one on Brock Lesnar, but still, it's a great storytelling. It's a true David Goliath moment, even though like John Cena's Goliath, Brock Lesnar's just a bigger Goliath.
Exactly, and that's always been the case. That was the way of bringing back Lesnar into the WWE fold after he took all them years off.
Mm-hmm. And then you see a year later at SummerSlam 2013, him and Daniel Bryan. Move for move, hold for hold, reversal. They can have pure wrestling, and he's able to do it. Again, it's easy to say like, oh, it's Kevin Owens, it's CM Punk, it's AJ Styles, it's Daniel Bryan, it's Dolph Ziggler. Yeah, but we've seen other guys have matches with those guys that aren't as good, and even those guys having matches with each other sometimes fall short. The Kevin Owens AJ Styles feud was very underwhelming to me match wise.
Mm-hmm. And that's because we saw it on the Indies as well. So
not even that. It just like, I thought this would be better. Then you see Shane McMahon, AJ Styles, and that's a fucking phenomenal match. Best match of that WrestleMania card.
And it had no reason to be that fire.
Oh, no, it did because Shane McMahon's the other GOAT. We'll do a Shane McMahon episode one day where...
Oh, we got to have Antonio for that one.
Yeah, shouts out to Antonio. We'll definitely have him on for that episode. If he says anything about the Lakers, we'll kick him right off.
ASAP. A-fucking-set.
Funny, when they had that Lakers versus Nuggets match, and John Cena's wearing 54 like he's fucking Kwame Brown, it still kills me.
Shouts out to Kwame Brown.
And Batista's in the full Lakers jersey and Lakers shorts. What a fucking idiot.
You got to go all the way, bro.
I do. I respect him for that aspect, but still, it's a weird look, Dave. Come on, Dave.
I think he hooped at one point, didn't he?
No, he apparently breakdanced.
That's fucking hilarious. Well, he is from DC, so.
He is from DC. He was Turbo.
I would have loved to see that. That would have been hysterical.
Oh, but see Batista Turbo with the broom.
You know he can still do that, probably, dude. Like,
oh yeah,
a breakdancer, always a breakdancer.
But like the other type of him and Shawn, he's also had great matches on TV. The CM Punk one, which everyone talks about, which is justified. The winner faces The Rock at WrestleMania 29. That's where we're gonna CM Punk hits him with the pile driver, which is like no one's supposed to do that move. And then John Cena throws a Hurricane Rana and then sets up the AA, which is like, who the fuck does that? Who throws a fucking Frankensteiner? Not even a Hurricane Rana, it's a Frankensteiner more than anything.
I was about to say, don't call it that. Call it the Frankensteiner.
Yeah. And then, him and Shawn Michaels, an hour in London. They had to impress the tings and the ends.
Yeah, which is the match people say is probably the best TV match ever.
I thought we just saw that with Bryan Danielson against Kenny Omega.
Well, that's what I said. But people talked about the John Cena one on Raw. I like the match the night before or whenever that took place, the week before when they did it at WrestleMania.
Again, he's had a great WrestleMania match, and he's someone who, if they didn't fuck up Randy Orton pinning him at WrestleMania 24, would have gone undefeated at WrestleMania until The Miz lost. Until The Miz lost. But they could have, imagine because they booked him, he didn't lose at WrestleMania until The Rock the next year, which gave us one of my favorite memes, which you got a lot of joy of. Anytime I post that meme of John Cena sitting on the entranceway, like, hello, darkness, my old friend.
That shit is hilarious.
For me, please.
And it just coincide with what happened with that meme when you posted it. That's what I'm saying.
Well, again, we're saving the movies till the end because that shows how multifaceted this man is and how he's a true GOAT. And again, how only The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, can rival him. Because again, The Rock was someone who was an underrated worker, I think, the whole time, and he had to fit that style of crash TV matches and stipulation matches because that's what the fans want at the time. But he's someone who you watch WrestleMania X7, him and Austin go hold for a bit and move for move.
My fault. Right.
What did you think of their matches, real quick? We'll get to the promo side of the feud. What did you think of the Rock Cena matches?
Right. That's what I'm trying to get my thoughts together about what you just said about The Rock being an underrated worker and how
I'm not saying he's a world beater, but like he's not a scrub or someone
beater.
Trying to think of a better term.
You already know I'm fucking with you, but
I know. But that is a wild term. You beating what?
Arm bar, right? That's what I'm saying. A world beater. Hold on.
What kind of Thanos shit are you on?
Me when I go to a certain site. No, I get what you mean. It's not the whole technical. It's not like the lyrical miracle shit. You know what I mean?
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
It's more so it's entertainment. Yeah. Like how they perceived Terry was supposed to do. Some people were doing it better and doing it to
popularity and record sales still matter. You can't just be cool for the underground.
Right, which is fine for that base. But when you have like, bro, who would want to see The Rock do some lyrical miracle type moves?
He can, but it also like when he would tear something like he did in those matches. But that was just more ring rust than him being gassed up more than anything. It was too much time off and being too much gas.
Yeah, that's why they got your man's doing
clanging and banging.
And he ain't never touched the weight. Your man's the fat, skinny man.
Hey, with your skinny, fat ass.
Which is still the funniest thing Triple H.
Okay, Hunter. You know, when you were in the gym, you know, again, did you take that piss test? And Triple H was like,
"Duh, yeah.
Why are you snitching?" Shh.
Listen, that would have been me. I would have socked the hell out of him. But no, I mean, as far as The Rock being a worker, the styles work well. It's just like you said, when him and Cena had the matches, because I have to find out exactly what style works for me, because I didn't per se go through the territories like everybody else around that time. So I had to learn literally from a school. Like they started that you go straight to a wrestling school and went straight to the E, whereas everybody else kind of just came from territories or went to WCW, learn to work there, and then go to WWE. So with them, it's more so you coming straight from school, straight to the E. So you got to learn, and you can't just you green for like years. Like people just think it happens overnight. It takes you years to get to where they got to. The problem with John Cena and The Rock is too late. It's too fucking late.
Yeah, if they had that match maybe a few years earlier, who knows what it could have been. I think they're the WWE match. That was a match that it didn't need. Not that 5 stars always matter, but those two just had to have a match at some point. It didn't matter if it had to be the best match of all time. Just those guys, again, countering each other or like one hitting the rock bottom, getting the 2 count. John Cena hits the AA, gets the 2 count. Like, oh, not enough. Like, I know the second one they hit each other like with the rock bottom, the A, like multiple times and all that, but still, like that's a Vince McMahon WWE match, which sometimes you need every once in a while. You just need one that's what it is on paper. It's a video game, finisher, and all that. But
I'll tell you what, and we don't need to talk about wrestling here because you about to do it later, and we do it on other platforms. I'll tell you what, if they about to book Roman Reigns versus The Rock, you better book that shit tomorrow because his body ain't gonna hold up.
Yeah.
He 50. He 50 right now.
He might be 51, right?
Damn, he that old?
Because Triple H is 50 something, and I think they started around the same time.
Which is still crazy to say that Triple H is 50 something. Because I remember watching him. That's how I know I'm getting old. You talk about seeing John Cena when he first came out.
The Rock will be 50 next year.
You got to start it now. You better start it tomorrow.
And Triple H is 52.
God
damn.
Same as my mom's.
My dad turned 47 this year, so he's still younger than. Again, the whole thing about my dad's the same age as Edge, and I was like, I couldn't imagine. Well, you'd be like, no wonder Edge looks like shit. He's 47.
But still, even then, it's still to fathom in my mind these people that I grew up watching being that old.
Oh yeah, that was the thing about the John Cena return this year. Is like, I really saw like the aged face, the bald spot in the back of the head, the fact that he slimmed down to actor weight. I was just like, damn, this is what happens. This must have been like MJ on the Wizards. Like, god damn, Mike, you ain't been to the gym in how long?
Perfect analogy, but I don't think Cena out here smoking cigars and drinking brown liquor before a game.
No, I think he drinks like wine and all that. Again, he's wearing suits. He's always, whenever you see him outside of wrestling, that's the funniest thing. This guy who wore t-shirts and jeans for his entire career, entire peak of his career, is now wearing custom-made suits 24/7 outside of the ring. Unless it's the Peacemaker costume, which is still
get some
fucking
bigger
hilarious.
Suits. They custom, but they too damn little on him. He needs some bigger ass suits. He needs some Steve Harvey suits.
But the promo side of him versus The Rock, it was a thing that you and I had a problem with him and Roman Reigns, or like Vince McMahon had him on the leash with Roman Reigns this time. He didn't in 2017. He was like, no, attack this kid. Like, make him earn the respect and prove that he can go on the mic. And Roman Reigns can now. He really couldn't back then. But John Cena and The Rock, again, The Rock came back. He did his catchphrases. That's what the people wanted. But John Cena was like, what you're saying, you're a liar. He's like, you say you want to come back, but you don't. And he's like, I'm going to kick your ass. And then the cool tattoo, and he wrote on his forearm. And the whole like, The Rock is 6'4". What are you going to do? What do you have left? And you can see the great thing about those promos, you can see how angry Dwayne Johnson gets, not The Rock. Dwayne Johnson's like, okay, now you're going off script. I ain't for this.
Yeah, that's what I told you. You could legit see it because he started getting closer to him. I said, all right, bro.
Anytime you willingly goes nose to nose with another man, you're pissed off.
But he kept walking up on him.
Hold me back.
It's some boxer shit. He kept walking up on him, and then John Cena was like, yep, I'm about to get out the ring.
Yeah, I mean, what did you think of those promos? Were you kind of sad to see The Rock get, cooked? He got cooked.
No, I understand he eating too well, man. Some people get comfortable when they start eating too well. That's all it was. So it was inevitable that was going to happen. He eat too well. He been away for a while. Fuck was he doing at this point? It wasn't Fast and Furious, right? Let me see what he was doing. Because, like, bro, he was away for a while. This is 2000 and shit's gonna say. But regardless, no. I don't think it's I don't think it had anything to do with him getting cooked, just because it's like, yo, I've seen The Rock body everybody. Like, when you stand toe to toe, promo wise, with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and you keep your own at a time when everybody were competing against each other, for you to lose to John Cena is not bad at all. So no, I wasn't upset at all about that. It was going to happen. Somebody was going to get you. It's happened to some of the greatest MCs of all time. Well, except for Nas, but Jay-Z's been bodied a couple times, and it comes along with it. But I remember a year before when they built it up and they said, let's have a match next year, and The Rock went in, filmed some other movies, and John Cena was still working. So I felt like they shouldn't have did with The Rock like John Cena did this past year, as far as like having some house shows, so he probably won't be rusty. And then they said once in a lifetime. Then once in a lifetime has happened more than once. So it still was a pretty good build up. I mean, it was what it's supposed to be. It's John Cena versus The Rock, two of the most popular workers of all time. So I was looking forward to it. And I remember the match just a little bit for the most part. And then I remember the next year they had the match, and that was for the title. But it was like, it was supposed to be once in a lifetime. But now once in a lifetime has turned into the title match. So, which isn't bad because you got to raise the stakes. But nah, I think it was supposed to be what it was supposed to be. the fact is that look, The Rock better than me because he did what I was going to do. I don't care what you say about me in my promos, but if you start saying like, yo, you got key points on your wrist, yeah, I might have to walk you down as well. Also, I can't put it on screen, but I'm looking at the match as we record. And I forgot how good of a start the match was. You lock up, and I felt like The Rock potato John Cena a couple times too, watching this. So the people that are listening, if you don't remember, all this kind of started when John Cena just was kind of questioning The Rock's work ethic years prior to this and saying he's a part-timer. And then The Rock showed up, took some shots at his pops, RIP, and his grandfather's Rocky Maivia, High Chief Peter Maivia, RIP, took some shots at him at the Hall of Fame ceremony. And then from there, it was kind of like, oh, okay, so it's something here. I don't think any of that was a work. John Cena had it was no reason for him to say that about The Rock saying he's a part-timer. I know he was just showing up every now and then, but at that point, it's like, what else can you do
when you
that
look
you
at
haven't
that
done already?
When you look at that period, that was the WWE was struggling. Again, they had gone PG. And I think a lot of the animosity was it's John Cena's fault. It's not good anymore because he's the one who's constantly the champion. Mm-hmm. Then The Rock would come and say, like, oh, I miss wrestling and all that. And then John Cena would be like, if you miss it, why don't you come back full time and do this thing? And better The Rock, again, it'd be stupid for The Rock to do that when he's ascending to the top of the mountain in Hollywood. And again, turnabout's fair play. John Cena shit on The Rock for doing that. And then now just justifiably Roman Reigns and, a few other people are doing that to John Cena. I mean, Roman Reigns is doing it as, the character, I think. But again, if anyone said that, about John Cena did the exact same thing. Once Hollywood came calling, John Cena left. Hollywood in terms of like a full-time thing. Because again, the Marine, 12 rounds, Legendary, these are WWE movies. It was a thing where John Cena was that most often or not they were filmed when John Cena was injured or had free time. But again, this was the guy who had like the full schedule of match promoting, the awesome stuff he did with Make-A-Wish, which he the stories that he never wanted any of that published. He just enjoyed doing it for what it was. So that whole feud, I wouldn't say that's the best. It just had a real story to it. Something like CM Punk and Edge, those I think are really in top contention for his best rivals because they were the opposite of him. Edge is the rock and roll, scoundrel that's gonna cheat to win, and he's the opposite of the good. He's the bad influence, the terrible morals. CM Punk, is the punk rock, the better wrestler. Anti-establishment, John Cena is the corporation. John Cena is the man. The corporation. CM Punk's, the people, the indie, freedom fighters and all that. That's why I think those two work well. Because I always, as much as I like movies like GoldenEye or the idea of the movie like GoldenEye and Mission Impossible 2, where like you face yourself, but yourself is evil, the evil version. It's better when you face like your opposite. Again, that's the whole point of Batman and Joker, but at the end of the day, they really have similar traits.
Yeah. This rivalry that he had with The Rock was more so, like you said, it was based on something that they can go off of being the WWE at that time, just because the rivalries that they had around that time were just like, just put them together or have the Big Show go against everybody. Or have Ryback go against everybody. So it was a very dark time.
Well, the Rock, that was, the previous flag bearer against the current one. So you had that again rights within itself. There was just so many layers to that story within it. But like you said, like just making a feud with John Cena and Wade Barrett over Nexus is like, it doesn't work as much. On paper, the Randy Orton John Cena feud, it's really lackluster, in my opinion. I know you're a Randy Orton defender, but
to a certain degree,
true.
But
I mean, the story to that, it just works that they were coming up at the same time. They're in that same OVW class with Batista, Shelton Benjamin, and that one guy had a fight to get to where he was. The other had, he was handpicked by Triple H to teach him everything. And was, again, they have that when they had the championship ascension ceremony for TLC 2013, and like John Cena's like, he pulls Daniel Bryan out, like, because your dad or mother are a WWE superstar. And Daniel Bryan's like, no. And then you see Randy Orton get, because again, Randy Orton's third generation, you see him get upset. And Daniel Bryan's like, just like, Daniel Bryan, so you had to work to become you had nothing handed to you at all, and John Cena was the same way, and that's where John's like, you've been protected since day one. Even in OVW, you were protected. Like no one could touch Randy Orton. Anything you did didn't matter. Bulletproof. That's why that rivalry doesn't really work, because their matches were always up and down. They more often than not they had mid to bad matches. The 09 feud was really when they had their best stuff, but when they ran it back in late 2013, early 2014, it was like, just repetitive. We already know the RKO is going to counter into the AA. It just didn't hit the same. Whereas like the CM Punk stuff always worked, and Edge stuff always worked because they were doing more. Where they were flipping the turns this time. I just never thought, as much as it really only worked in 09, but Randy Orton and him, before and after that period, never really clicked as like a great rivalry that they wanted to make, because that's going to be their two guys after Batista was calling it quits. It's like, we're going to depend on Randy Orton and John Cena to carry the company. And one guy wanted to, the other was Randy Orton.
Right, exactly. So this was, going back to The Rock, it was good for that time just because you needed something totally different. Because other than that, around that time, I just like John Cena versus the Nexus when they was beating his ass. That shit was hilarious. And then now you see it. Most of those guys don't work for the company at all.
Yeah, that was the thing. He outlasted a lot of people that they tried to make, but those guys weren't gonna make it either. I guess maybe this would be the time to talk about like the Alex Riley stuff. There were reports that he held people back, or he was wish-washy on people, where like he would go to NXT and try to teach guys, but then would end up being like, they don't have it.
Yeah, speak on that, because the people that I know of, it's like, they not that fire to begin with, bro. Like Alex Riley is cool, but
yeah, Alex Riley, he had the look, was the thing, just the look of a Vince McMahon guy, and he actually was a decent worker for that. He could carry himself, but he wasn't going to be, who knows what he could have been at the end of the day. But there's that John Cena squashed him before he could even happen. The reports that he would go to NXT and try to teach guys like Percy Watson and Derek Bateman, and then would be like, at the end of the day, you can only go so far with these guys. That's what's interesting with that clip that came out a couple weeks ago with Big E and Roman Reigns and John Cena working out with them, is maybe John Cena thought like, neither of those guys had it, and they ended up doing it, because he said that about, again, that was the thing to what made the CM Punk feud so good, where CM Punk, John Cena was like, after I won the ECW title, you came up to me and said, congrats, I almost gave up on you. And CM Punk's like, how dare you say something like that to me? And but again, John Cena was like, you got to prove yourself. I had to prove myself.
I don't think with Big E, maybe with Big E and Roman Reigns, he felt like that, obviously, because they was working out with him in his own personal gym. But when you see those two, you can't see. You got to be a fool to say that even back then. Like, these guys don't got it. You shouldn't be.
It's tough because you have that
Especially
mindset.
Big E.
True, but who knows? He maybe, what they had him doing, that's just a very typical role. Again, like the muscle guy who doesn't talk. It just shows up and demolishes people. Then he showed that he had personality on the mic when they gave him the chance. And that's thing, everyone just needs a chance. The whole thing about the John Cena story is that he needed that chance to show the rapper side, and he was able to evolve and learn from that and how to become someone who can carry the company. The same thing with the Roman Reigns. Like, they buried him while trying to make him the guy by having him say stupid shit in promos and have a stupid look. Why was he the only one wearing the Shield stuff? It didn't need to happen. He needed to become someone else after that. I know that's dumb. You know, maybe it's a hypocritical thing to say because John Cena wore the jean shorts and all that, but the vest really held Roman Reigns back because he came in with those guys and they changed their look. He's the only one who's not, but that's what that is. And with John Cena, I mean, it's the thing. What I said a few weeks ago, like you can compare him to Drake. Is like, why would I change? Like, why would I change the look or my promos? You play the hits if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And that's John Cena the last 10 years.
Also, too, real quick, we got to remember these guys were in their mid-20s. You don't hit your stride as far as anything you do until your early 30s when you become a vet at that point. You ain't the highlight years. You in your prime. So going to Roman Reigns, it's like he's 34, 35 years old now. And we've seen the best and one of the greatest things in pro wrestling history. Same thing with John Cena. It took him after 06 when he was 27, 28 years old to get to 2015 when he was having all these great matches and people's like, oh shit, he could have been this the whole time. It's like, yeah, probably so. But then after that, you always gonna be like, what's next? It's the whole thing, like you just said with Drake. After you do one thing, people gonna be like, what else can you do? Give us another. Like, fuck.
And the thing with that is, Drake he added the Afrobeat sound and mixed with this and that. And that's John Cena doing the springboard stunner, doing a fucking code red, doing modified slams. It's again, John Cena would catch people, roll through, hit an AA, roll through again, hit another AA. It showed, different dynamics of it. You can still do the same shit, but do it in a doper way. That's that fresh kind of pain. But just for John Cena to be the NWO John Cena that we saw in the Firefly Funhouse, that was never going to happen. And anyone who hoped that was going to happen it'd be Vince McMahon to do that.
Charlemagne, are we live?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. You didn't hear me before? Well, that was weird because my screen just reset. So I was like, what the hell?
Yeah, and I was like, all right.
My apologies for that just technical glitch out of nowhere, but I think we're good.
Yeah, no, we straight. That just threw me out of nowhere. I was like, Charlemagne, are we live?
But I mean, he's had other great matches. I mean, like the match of him and Roman Reigns at No Mercy 2017 was good. The match this year, John Cena just didn't have enough ring time. They still had a good WWE match. They played the hits.
Brother, I text you? Even though I was doing the SummerSlam watch along, I said it's over.
We were there together. But yeah, I think John Cena's best days are behind him, which everyone has their time. No, yeah, everyone rides off to the sunset at some point. But what are some other great matches before we kind of get to like some other aspects?
You want me to have another list?
No, I had them like right now, but like him and Umaga at Royal Rumble 2007, the last man standing match where he chokes him out with the ring rope. Again, when he would have to be the underdog, he would come up with creative ways to win. WrestleMania 25, where he has the great entrance. We'll get to the entrances in a second. All the great entrances he ever had, but he's facing Big Show and Edge. He puts both of them on his shoulders, which is like holy shit. He doesn't AA both of them, but imagine if he did. Holy shit! Like my back, and my back.
The fact that he did that, and then he also picked up Mark Henry and AA him.
Viscera.
Good, yeah.
Great call. He did to everyone pretty much.
Buddy, and then he did with Great Khali is still insane.
Yeah. Well, Great Khali is like, I don't know how you could flip that guy forward because if you put him on your shoulders, I think he's already touching the ground.
He was. So the fact that he did that, and you can't tell Great Khali, yo, can you lift up? He's already up. Like his strength is insane. That's what I'm saying. He can't be on the juice because your body would have broken down.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, you could say like the injuries he had were always kind of freak injuries. Again, like the neck injury, the torn pec, that stuff that happens, in freak occurrences. And can't remember what the last one was in 2015, where he dropped the U.S. belt to Alberto Del Rio and came back the next year. But earlier in that year, the John Cena U.S. Open Challenge was phenomenal in 2015, and he was putting on great TV matches every single week with Dean Ambrose, Dolph Ziggler, Stardust, Bad News Barrett. Him and Cesaro had an amazing one. Him and Zack Ryder had a good one. Zack Ryder does a fucking 450, which is like, what the fuck are you trying to prove, Zack Ryder?
Well, he don't like John Cena.
Again, all right. So the rumor of that too was that John Cena was trying to help Zack Ryder, and then after a while, cooled off on him. That was the thing too, where he was trying to. But again, I think he realized like, oh yeah, this guy can only go so far. I think that's really what it was. That John Cena would see potential, but then immediately probably do like the Kobe Bryant, where like, if you're not going to put in the work like I am, I'm not going to waste my fucking time.
That's what it is. But then with Matt Cardona, we see what's going on now, right?
That's a different type. I don't want to talk about Matt Cardona.
And he be still taking shots here and there. Like, people think it's a work. It's cute. No, he's still mad. But why you relying on this man to try to get you over?
He's so mad because there was no guy who tried to make himself the Vince McMahon prototype. And Vince McMahon was like, I don't like you. Don't you get it? You can be jacked and this and listen to whatever I say. I don't give a fuck. You're a geek. Get the fuck out of my face.
Action figures. You have a Vince McMahon.
Yeah, he was like, you buy toys with the money I paid you, you fucking nerd.
And you know what's so hilarious? You might be so close to what he's probably said.
No, that's 100% what it is. Because thinking Matt Carter's like, I'm in the gym, I'm always working out. Vince, like, come on, I'm tan as I can be. Come on, Vince, please. It's just like in Jay and Bob Strike Back when they meet Ben Affleck. He's like, please, Lord, when's it gonna be my time? Just please. And then Vince McMahon's like, are you Roman Reigns? No. Then get the fuck out of my office. If you're not Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins, I don't give a shit. Wolverine, I don't give a damn.
Because you know the whole thing with Vince, right? The weird thing, if you come by his office and say, hey, can I talk to you about something? He'll tell you to leave. But then over and over.
You know what's funny? Everyone who has like a story, like the Shawn Michaels has a story where he got to become the guy was because he went to Vince McMahon's like, Vince, please, I'll do anything you want. Just tell me what to do. And then stop it. We're not going back that direction. You tried one time. We're not doing that. And then Vince McMahon's like, you just did it. Is that like prove? Like go to him and tell him instead of just be cowering in fear like the rumors are. But it's like, it's Vince McMahon. How could you not?
Most great people, except for Jordan, will try to help you get better. Mm-hmm. You know,
the Jordan thing was, I'm going to bully you into being better. Yeah, that was just his method. Yeah, how it works. I mean, Kobe Bryant, someone did it as well. Don't forget, he was like, I ain't passing none of y'all the ball until you can show me that you can make a shot.
Exactly. But then they have to remember that nobody's Kobe or Jordan. That's 101. So what the thing is in pro wrestling, more so with Vince, it's like, like people said, if you slap Vince, he'll probably give you a job. If you slap him.
I don't know. Titus O'Neil shook his hand and he was like, get the fuck out. Get your damn hands off of me.
Well, we all love Titus as a person. He's a great man. But if Titus touched you, what you gonna do?
No, if he touched me,
you gotta think Vince was probably off the coke high and somebody just touched him. I'm probably like, what the fuck?
But yeah, I mean, you see John Cena. I mean, again, it's not that he never put people. Again, he puts RVD over at One Night Stand in 06 in a great match. Again, it's a screw job finish, but he puts Kevin Owens over clean in that Elimination Chamber match out of nowhere. Again, the title's not on the line, but still. It's not that he never did jobs or probably didn't want to put people over. The famous one is that he didn't want to put Nexus over because he's like, no, we shouldn't do it now. And then when they won, when John Cena and his team won, he realized like, oh, I've made a huge mistake because I now had a few of these guys who I already beat.
People's like Wayne Bear should have got the title push for fucking what?
That era was weird because again, that's the like they think Randy Orton's the guy, but like Randy Orton's not the guy. Sorry, they think Sheamus is the guy. It's like again, Sheamus is a better Randy Orton in terms of like the guy who's not the guy, but he can fight the guy.
So you think Wade Barrett shouldn't have got a title push over those two?
It would have really helped solidify the Nexus as like a dominant force if he had won the title.
Yeah.
Only to then drop it to someone else or to lose it
Cena.
in like a or to lose it to Sheamus or anyone in a bullshit way. Where like again, John Cena, because he was supposed to get that title shot. I think he only gets it in the 6-pack challenge, which has like Edge, Chris Jericho. And Chris Jericho is another underrated opponent for Cena. I mean, mainly in the 2008 era when Jericho wore the suit and all that.
And he had a soccer mom haircut.
Yeah, the Ellen DeGeneres haircut. Yeah.
And he was getting to where he's built now.
Yeah, that was the last year where he was in good shape. Well, he was in better shape when he showed up, when he was but then that went by like what the hell happened to you? Like 1 month,
hot dogs.
1 month on the road, and he was back to the Chris Jericho of old.
Which can happen.
Yeah. No, it's hard to maintain. That's the whole thing about like discipline and maintaining.
Thank you.
I mean, that's the thing where me, like, I mean, if I wanted to look how I've looked at certain points, like I gotta keep doing that shit every day, but I'm almost like, man, I'm tired. Like, I don't want to fucking do this shit. Which again, I can say all this shit about The Rock and being gassed up, which I think he is, but you still see him in the gym regardless. Because again, you have to get those results, even if you're using something, you still have to put in the work. It's the whole thing where like Barry Bonds still had it a baseball, even though that's not true. Those allegations were false. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, but anyway, not to go that direction.
Right, because you already know how I feel about Barry Bonds. The stats were the stats before the allege. I'm just saying.
I just remember that episode of That So Raven where he's like, is that Barry Bonds? Barry Bonds, you the man. You remember that? With the girl, or the rival girl had the same birthday party as Raven's birthday party.
I forgot all about that. Yeah. Barry Bonds, you the man. I forgot all about that.
He's like, oh my God, is that Barry Bonds? Barry Bonds, you the man. And then the dad from Cousin Skeeter runs over.
Damn, you right.
Yeah, he was out on both shows, yeah.
That's funny. But he started that show. The bald man?
Yeah. I always
from Cousin Skeeter, he starred in That's So Raven.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's the same guy.
Okay, yeah.
They who they said looked like the one police officer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a weird time in LA.
Yeah, they kept posting. I'm like, wait. Oh no, they just look. I'm like, God. They're just like, I can't believe he did this, and they just kept posting this picture. I'm like, don't do it to that man, please. Like,
LL said they tried to get him.
Oh, what you doing? Don't touch my body.
Because I'm an actor. I act.
What you looking at your lips for on a set full of men? The hell?
Right. Hardcore rapper, but he's glossy.
LL Cool J versus John Cena. That would have been a good match. In an ambulance match.
Once again, what Jamie Foxx said, LL takes shit too serious.
I think LL would have worked for a real match. Don't forget, John Cena had to kind of have a match with Kevin Federline, which is like fucking A.
I know Vince has definitely seen LL was like, how do we get him?
Look at him. Look at his back.
Because Marion been swole since 95, bro. Oh, yeah, you didn't watch In the House.
I don't. But no, if you see LL Cool J, again, he was in SWAT for a reason. Great movie. Yeah. He's a cop.
And years later, they thought he was that cop that we referred to.
Yeah, that's, again, I don't know why we're circling right back to that after we were trying to drift out of it.
No, just y'all do y'all Googles that's listening.
But yeah, there are just so many great John Cena matches to say. And I think we set up a bunch of them in the promos. If you just look up John Cena promos, just type in a year, you'll get a great promo because that's how consistent he was. Whether it was like the shittier version of his character in like the 2010s, latter half of 2009, he still was the guy. And he always has a great promo in with one of the great feuds that came along with, like I said, the championship ascension ceremony, the CM Punk stuff, obviously with he really has that whole press conference, the contract signing, where he's like, no, it's funny that you bring up Dwayne and all that because he's already got a match at WrestleMania, with me, regardless of who's the champion. That's just like, I can add to the 5 moves of doom. I can tap into my heel persona and let it take over. And he does like the smart, because again, he's a guy who's self-aware. This is a guy who on the internet is aware that people can't see him. They play that. That's the thing we haven't even talked about is the memes that this guy has created with the, oh my God, who's poor girl. I saw that one recently. Like it's the picture of John Cena at the prom with a woman. Like, oh, poor girl had to go to prom by herself.
I gotta look for the one, and I'll post it on the Twitter. When
the best.
Says,
hang on.
See me.
Oh, and you show up and no one's there. The best is when he was with Jesus Amaro to promote blockers in 2018. He's like, all you're gonna see in your comments is who are they talking to? Because he's in the middle and they're both on the side. Yeah.
And that happened the same like hour after that video got released.
Yeah. He has a good he's great. He hosted SNL. He's got great comedy chops. Him as the peacemaker, and he's talking about fucking starfish is a slang term for butthole. Do you think it has to do anything with that? And she's like, nope. It's like, okay.
Again, got that woman smitten after him as well.
Which one?
What's her name? Margaret Robbie.
Oh, Margaret Robbie. Yeah, again, he was. Apparently, Margaret Robbie just gets everyone to fall for her. I mean, not to. I'm saying she just falls for everyone. Apparently, but Will Smith stuff, him, probably Leonardo DiCaprio. Everyone, she just horny. Don't do. I mean, hey, sign me up. As you said, I'm next.
I'm next.
Who's next? You're next.
I'm gonna kill you.
Imagine a John Cena Scott Steiner feud. If you get peak Big Papa Pump against, that's the dream matches. We could go the whole thing. I mean, Big Papa Pump against. Listen here, you chain gang bitch. You think you can lift in the gym?
That's what we should have had instead of all that weightlifting shit with Triple H and Scott Steiner.
Oh, it's peak. There's like John Cena would have been like, Sky, you're on too many roids.
Yeah, somebody would have died.
You would have had bars for days, and Scott Steiner would have lost. Like, you shut the fuck up before I break your fucking neck. And John Cena would be like, whoa. He would have been like, The Rock, like, hey, no. It's acting, Scott, we're acting.
I'm from Detroit. You don't know about Trick.
I mean, we had Kurt Angle, John Cena, but Perk Angle, John Cena. Perk Angle versus U.S. Open Challenge, John Cena. Damn, that would have been 8 stars. We had
pre-Perk Angle.
No, that's what I'm saying.
In 05,
but 08, 09 Perk Angle against 2015 John Cena. 2015, 2016 John Cena would have been insane. Like
that shit would look like a lucha match.
He would have hit a 450, caught him in air to do the AA, only for Kurt Angle to roll through and do a German right after, and then transition to an ankle lock. Then he would roll through to the STF. It would, yeah.
No, that would have been some lucha bros.
By God, oh my God. Anyone in the next? That's the thing. Like, I think. I mean, there was the redacted dream, but that's just gone. That's the match he wanted, but nope. But yeah, I mean, to go, yeah. I mean, the promos would have been amazing. Because he would have been like, "I can see you, John. I can see all of you," and it would have been like, "I can see the whole fucking thing."
You gonna see that trial too?
The other meme, basically he became the new Rickrolled. When TikTok, when Vine started, right? They're like, "Oh, it's John Cena."
That shit is fire.
That's still the best thing ever. Then they added the Super Saiyan cartoon animated aspect to it. The only thing that rivaled that was the RKO out of nowhere memes. That's the only thing that topped the John Cena memes was the RKO out of nowhere. They had Randy Orton RKO and fucking missiles and shit, rocket ships and.
A shark.
Yeah. A shark ate me. It fucking ate me.
Ate that RKO.
Oh, God. Yeah, the entrances. I mean, WrestleMania 22, he comes out to the hey, see, mobsters, see, we're in Chicago, see, with the Tommy gun with that's not shooting nothing, but it's sound effects that he has to like mimic. It's just
big ass overcoat too.
Yeah.
Which the Laps fan, which is the podcast that does a Brett, Mr. Hitman, I'm fucked. They say that he looks like a flasher with that trench coat. Like he just like
He did.
Then the next year he drives the Ford Mustang into Ford Field, which he would do, 14 years later in Fast 9, F9. At WrestleMania 28, he comes out to the band playing My Time Is Now. Again, we'll get to the rap album as well, because it's a good album. There's some good songs on there. I ain't gonna lie, just say it because I'm with John Cena. There's some good songs.
He was going crazy for Bad Man.
With the mic in my hand, I'm a bad man. Right now, the chorus, oh, right now, is amazing.
Did I tell you that damn near every day before the gym I listen to My Time Is Now, or I have in the past 2 weeks?
I mean, again, still hard knock your shell off. My money stacked fat, so I can't turn the swell off.
I gotta figure out who did that beat because they use like 2 or 3.
Jake One, who worked on Furthest Thing for Drake.
Oh, Jake One did that?
Yep.
That's insane.
This podcast I used to listen to, Black Opinions Matter, they would interview him and he said, like, the thing I'll probably be most known for is making the John Cena entrance.
And Jake One got some production, bro.
Again, Furthest Thing, like here, Furthest Thing, like, sometimes between psychotic and iconic, like fucking on the low. Oh, yeah. No, it's Jake One. Sole producer, I believe. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That song is known across the planet.
Oh yeah.
My Time Is Now.
Like I said, the 2009 entrance at WrestleMania 25, which is the Real Slim Shady video where they have all the people dressed up like John Cena do the. Then next year again, he was kind of proud boy by having the Marines do the routine, flipping the rifles and all that. 2011, he comes out to the chorus with the DMX speech before it. That's when you should have known. All right. So there was a few months ago, some asshole was like, John Cena is the biggest culture vulture that we like get by. It's like, you know what? At least John Cena like was aware of it. Again, it was a character. Like John Cena's like, I'm playing a guy who's a white rapper. It's not like John Cena went on to be like, oh, rap is shitty or rap is trash. It's like, no, John Cena's like, if because I can freestyle a bit, I'm gonna go all in. I'm gonna dress it's the thing where you commit to the role by paying proper respect to it. Again, you could say like years now, John Cena isn't doing that anymore, but it's like because he's not that character anymore. Or that he'll bring it back out for like to be relevant, like he did at WrestleMania 35 in 2019. But again, that whole point of that for Firefly Funhouse match was to explore his career. And yeah, there was a period of time where that was the thing. But then he says on that Ruthless Aggression Duck, I couldn't do that if I was going to be the face of the company because that's a character that works if you're a supporting character. If you're not someone who's relied upon to do media appearances and to meet and greet kids and all that. I mean, sure, it's not like he never shit talked about. That's a culture vulture to me is if you're going to take from it and then shit on it. What do you think about that?
Oh, you're absolutely right. Because he did it and then he stopped. He didn't keep going on. He didn't do the MGK shit. He didn't do like the Justin Bieber, like, all right, I'm going to use this just to catapult off of Black culture. He literally just did the rapping thing for like a year and a half. And then he was like, well, I got to switch this up. Like you said, because the kids start wearing his merch. I can't be saying expletive on your girl expletive and the kids wearing my shirt. He understood marketing. And then he went from there and kind of did the rap thing, but he wasn't rapping.
Yeah, he did the whole like Stephanie let me smack that, and then it went to Stephanie McMahon. It's the difficult spot to be in, but like I said, it was. I maybe shouldn't talk about like culture vultures and all that being who I am and a white person and all that, but like to me, the old is like you said, MGK definitely wanted to be like a punk rocker, but like he could kind of rap, so he stuck with that to then no, this is really what I want to do. Same thing with Post Malone being like, I want to make rock star and country music. I don't want to do this rap shit. Like, it doesn't have any, again, like when you have comments like that of like, there's no real emotion or like you want to hear real music, don't listen to rap. Like, that's cultural. Like, come on, look at yourself.
And
you don't have face tat
too. So when I was like, oh shit.
But to me, that's what a culture vulture is. John Cena was someone who, I mean, and that was the thing at that time. It was, Eminem, the Malibu's Most Wanted, the white people dressing up, and like that was the peak of it. Was what you talking about? What the hurricane would do. It was like it was that era. What's up with that?
What's up with that?
I'm trying to think of anything else before we get to the movies aspect, because I mean, he had 3 come out this year. He had F9, which go back and listen to. You Never Deserved the Toretto Name for our full opinion on that. He's great in that movie, but that movie's horrible. I mean, he gets one of the great all-time lines. You think you knew Dad, huh? Because you're his favorite? You don't know shit. And again, him being Vin Diesel's brother, God, you couldn't pick any funnier casting than those two. Not since Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger have like 2 guys looked less like brothers to play brothers. Even the movie 4 Brothers, where they're not supposed to be brothers, I could believe all 4 of those guys are related.
Or they were adopted too, so
I know, but I'm saying but they're like, no, they all have the same mom or dad. I'll be like, you know what? I believe it.
You remember what Mark Wahlberg character said
about? Oh, he says the N-word, doesn't he?
I mean, he was like, "Oh, I'm spitting today." He said,
well, he was like, "Wait, I can say this on camera."
Right. He said, "I heard Victor Sweet been chasing you around like a you know what."
Oh yeah, he did say yeah. I do like that movie. Shouts R.I.P. John Singleton. That's a good mid-tier movie.
Yeah, they shot the shit out of Anakin Skywalker.
No, that's Garrett Hedlund. Don't do that.
That's not the same person?
No, that's not Hayden Christensen. It's Garrett Hedlund from Tron Legacy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Then after that, I haven't seen him in anything else.
That's because he's done a lot of like indie or Netflix stuff, but he's Emma Roberts' baby daddy, which is that poor fucker because she's crazy.
God bless. Get your money.
She was beating Evan Peters' ass.
Oh, I would have sued the hell out of her then. I would have been oversold like Dolph Ziggler.
Well, when your aunt is Julia Roberts, you ain't winning those cases.
Damn, you're right. Yo, that woman is evil. I'll tell you off here.
You have an experience?
Yeah.
You already told me about your experience with Jada Pinkett Smith, who I'm shocked she didn't try to throw it at you, considering she's throwing it at everyone.
It's not too late. If you listen to Jada, it's not too late. What you want to do? I ain't that far from Calabasas. Shit, boy. We don't even need to talk about that. You want to talk about AA. Y'all want your 5-star classics. Nah, bump that. Thanks. Slapping.
But
set it off.
Okay. And then he had the Suicide Squad, which we didn't really get to talk about, but he's the best thing. Again, best thing in the movie, even though everyone's really good in that movie. But his role, especially the dynamic of him and Idris Elba is really good. And you can see again that it got him a whole HBO show because of that. James Gunn's like, I got something with this guy. Like he had something with Batista. James Gunn is able to speak to the wrestlers turn actors really well. I wonder what that's about, but maybe he just knows that
they weird people.
True, and he's a weird fucking guy as well, so it makes sense.
Yeah, that's all it is.
But he's probably got what will go down as my favorite scene of the year, which is the fight between him and Rick Flag, and it ends with the Peacemaker. What a joke! Like it's a fight scene, but it's also got real good emotion, and it's shot phenomenally. But again, the whole scene with him and Bloodsport are like going at each other, like bar for bar when they're kill for kill. Mm-hmm. That whole sequence is good. It just like chops the person with the axe, and then because it's dope as fuck. And hearing John Cena say "fuck" is hilarious. After again, the only heel turn we had was him in the NWO. They're in the Firefly Funhouse playing the guitar, which is still
heel turn.
Oh yeah, no. Again, he said, "I don't care how many women and children I'd have to kill to get it." And he's like, I'll do what I have to. As he's pointing at Rick Flag, he's like, that's like in Reservoir Dogs. Like, don't point that gun at my dad.
Nah, he got Rick Flag the fuck up out of here.
Oh, definitely. Stabbed right in the heart, right in the chest.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. So I was like, well, there might not be another Suicide Squad movie.
And then him surviving that just shows again, Super Cena. You can never beat him. He's always gonna never give up. He's always gonna keep rising.
Right. So the show takes place before or after the movie?
After. It's after. Yeah. I thought it was before, but apparently it'll be after because the way the movie ends sets up the show. But I thought the show was gonna end with him being in the prison. They're like, without it could be either at this point, but I think it's post the Suicide Squad. Given how they come to
this year, right?
And I think they said November because they just announced that Insecure. Well, they showed the trailer for Insecure. God, real quick on that. Every time Lawrence gets a win, we're reviewing the play. They're calling it back.
Hey man, listen.
He was out here fucking just to catch fucking gonorrhea or whatever. It was like, God, men can never get a win. He gets his woman back only for another woman to say, I'm pregnant. And he's like, you keeping it? And she's like, what you mean am I keeping it? He's like, God damn it.
Listen, he better than me. I was like, I got a trick for you, sweetheart.
Don't do it. Don't do it. No. Stop.
But shouts out to him. October 29th, it comes out being Insecure, and then the Peacemakers 2022 in January. So they pushed
that would be damn. That makes sense. HBO trying to, because they also have Succession and Curb Your Enthusiasm coming back around the same time as Insecure. So they want to burn all their shows. And then Euphoria season 2 as well. So they're smart to push that for the next year.
Right. And they don't want this show to get stepped on being Peacemaker.
Oh, I think it'll still do numbers because Watchmen, I think, did pretty well for them. And that showed that, if people watched a superhero show that we gave a fuck about instead of like Titans or whatever, people will watch it. I mean, I'm not.
Oh damn! Shouts out to Titans. I gotta watch the last 2 episodes.
No, I've never seen it, so
great show, especially this season.
And then Vacation Friends, which is a really bad movie.
That's movie of the year, probably.
Don't. I hate when you do shit like this.
It's one of the best movies. You legit didn't like that?
No, and after it was when the credits rolled, and I was like, oh, this movie has 5 screenwriters. No wonder this movie's terrible.
Yeah, comedy, you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah, you're not. And the reason I think it's terrible because it's trying to do too many things. It's trying to be, it's playing with like emotion. It's also about like PTSD in a way because he's a soldier who's lost his best friend, but then like he's doing cocaine or like trying to trick them into doing like he's supposed to be drunk the whole time. So yeah, real quick, that movie Snafu. He said, I read something about that, and you cut the promo about the Chinese film industry. Yeah, that movie apparently will just like never see the light of day in America, at least. Not just with how Hollywood has cooled on placating towards China for box office appeal, but also that China has also been turned off on selling movies in America. Like they are now relying on their own box office. They feel like they don't need America to make money.
You see the date?
Yeah, no, I remember reading about it years ago. I was like, oh wow. And again, it's funny because I was talking about Jackie Chan to be in a Mission Impossible movie, and then they got John Cena and Jackie Chan to do a movie. Imagine Jackie Chan. You think Jackie Chan could have been a good wrestler?
Hell yeah, he would have been crazy in Lucha Underground.
Him climbing, he would have, again, like how Jeff Hardy climbed the Hell in the Cell that one time just to swing back and forth and then drop down. Jackie Chan would have been doing that shit years ago.
Like a headstand.
But yeah, this
movie is money laundering. You think I'm joking?
No, I agree. Yeah, because again, if it got finished, he also check out the movie The Wall. It's a really well-made short movie that he's great in. He has a small role. It's with Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was kick-ass. They're the only 2 guys in it. It's about these 2 soldiers in the Middle East being targeted by a sniper from like where they don't know where he's from. like where his position's at. Yeah, it's really good. It's an Amazon Prime movie, so if you have Prime, you can watch it there. Made by Doug Liman, who did Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Jumper, the Firstborn movie, Edge of Tomorrow. His filmography is up and down, but that's because he's the guy who like has to remake every movie as he's making it. But this is like solid all the way through. Blockers, he's okay in that movie. He's just all right. The trailer made it look like it was American Pie for girls, but it's kind of more heartwarming than that. Which nothing against that, but and his best stuff is like in the trailer anyway. But again, he's wearing like cargo shorts in that movie, which is again seeing him wear real clothes outside of wrestling is crazy. Like in Vacation Trends, he's wearing jeans. Just like did they have to taper these jeans to John Cena himself? Like, because no way he's fitting in like regular Levi's.
Damn near, bro. That's you saying that. I'm really thinking about it. Like, yo, when he had just regular clothes on, that shit just like they painted it on him. Like the Bumblebee movie, the gear on him in that movie was big as hell. I mean,
I still haven't seen that. That's the one movie I haven't seen of his that in the last couple of years. And I know it's supposed to be pretty good as well. I just haven't seen it.
Me neither. But like you said, I heard it's good, so I might check it out.
Well, it's made by Travis Knight, who is the son of Phil Knight, founder of Nike. But again, it was basically what they were building up the story, kind of like about him beating Roman and then taking the WWE title to the set of his next movie, which is Argyle, a Matthew Vaughn spy movie with Henry Cavill and a whole bunch of other people, which I'm like fucking psyched for, because that's Matthew Vaughn's my guy. And since they're probably going to be discontinuing the Kingsman franchise due to it being Disney owned, I think Matthew Vaughn's trying to get in on another franchise. And you see they got Samuel Jackson, who again is just, as we said a couple weeks ago, he's just always taking the check. He's the founder of First Team All Check.
Yeah, Legend at the Bank. Damn, they got some people on this movie.
Yeah, Dua Lipa, Sam Rockwell.
Autobahn from Home Alone in this shit.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, she a legend, Kevin.
So I think he'll have a big career in Hollywood, as big as The Rock. I mean, he's got again his own show, which is part of a big franchise in the Suicide Squad. Again, it's an HBO show, so it's got prestige to it and legitimacy. He'll probably come back for Fast 10 or Fast 11 for sure. They got to end that story. Again, if our theory about time travel and rescuing the dad is going to come true, and they just announced he'll be like in a serious movie about like the presidential race, which will be interesting to show, so he can show his serious acting chops, which I think he can. There are some moments in the Suicide Squad where he displays that.
Yo, what if he gets nominated? This is the movie you're talking about.
Yeah, The Independent. They just announced this a couple of days ago. If he were to be, that would be amazing. I still think that he'll be playing Vince McMahon in that upcoming series about the steroid trial.
Dog, you want Vince to be in tears of joy.
I think that's why they agreed to make it. I think that's also why he's kind of slimmed down and has kept his hair the way it is. They'll just probably dye it gray, and he'd be believable. I don't think you can cast anyone else as Vince McMahon. I know a couple of years ago when that script Pandemonium was released, it was supposed to be the true but not true story about Vince McMahon creating wrestling as we know today, that Bradley Cooper was attached to be Vince McMahon,
which would be hilarious.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't really see that. And I like Bradley Cooper, but I don't think I could see him being Vince McMahon. But I'm just trying to think of any other moments or, because this is a guy I've been a fan since I was 9 years old. Never wavered, even through all the trials and the stuff with The Miz. When he's like, again, John Cena is really the GOAT because he made The Miz go knock up Maurice. Because he's like, what's the matter? How come you have any kids yet? You shooting blanks there, pal? And like he nut taps him, which is like, this is getting weird.
Yeah, that's a big pause. I would have been like, great.
No, but right after that, you hear that Miz and Maurice are having a baby. So John Cena, you owe John Cena a thank you, Miz, because how are you gonna have this hot ass wife and not get her pregnant?
Oh, so he basically blessed him by touching his nuts.
Which is funny. That's the whole point of Vacation Friends. Which is again another. See, that's why that movie was so weird. That it was like they tried to trick Lil Rel thinking that he impregnated the woman. That movie was just a mess. And like you said, they had as soon as they had a. I've never. Is it King Batch or King Bach? Because his name is Andrew Bachelor, but like when he was in it, I was like, oh, I know this movie's gonna be awful.
I call him King Kong, but to each his own. Oh God.
I don't know how to respond after that. There when he said that Darren Young was his long lost brother, he's like, Darren Young, my mom's got some explaining to do.
I'll leave that one alone.
Oh, God. Oh, you'll leave that alone, but you'll call out King Batch. Come on.
I seen the Vines back in the day.
Whatever.
And that little goatee tell me everything. The little skinny ass goatee. I don't trust no black dude with a skinny goatee.
Oh, so you talk about Will Smith, brother.
Whenever people ready.
Will Smith has the villain goatee now. He's really going to be the villain in a Mission Impossible movie because he's got the goatee where there's no mustache.
He the villain in his own household.
That
is being on the movie. Fucking crazy ass wife talking about me and my daughter talking about getting a BBL. I wish the fuck you might get a BBL.
Who? What's her? Willow?
Yeah, like bro, that's wild. She only 20, bro.
This bitch crazy. I don't even like calling women bitches, but bitch, you crazy.
Like, yo, I'm definitely telling Jada, we could have had some special. But you one crazy ass.
But you one crazy ass bitch.
I'm still
could have been something.
I seen set it off. I'm in the buying Nate shit, so I'm
Stop. No, it's like, what do they say about Erykah Badu? That it had special powers. Jada Pinkett Smith's like the opposite.
Yeah, no, I think it just cursed people.
Yeah.
Because Pac did.
And then Will Smith, I mean, made a whole bunch of bad movies after like really shacking up with her. And then what was his name? August Alsina? He ain't done. I didn't know who he was until I heard the scandal. So I was like, who?
As an R&B dude, I like his music, but you're right. Nobody really knows who he is. But listen, Will Smith about to do a movie, and he said the reason why I didn't take Django is because they kill him.
I was just about to say we'll do a Will Smith episode one day. Again, to wrap it up, as we will be doing. You and I have done the show for a year. It's been an amazing experience. Like I said last week on the Black Announce Table Patreon, I know you don't like praise and getting your flowers, but you've taught me so much, as well as the guys from Black Wrestling. You've mainly just taught me the work ethic aspect of podcasting, to always keep going and just kind of, if there's an opportunity that shows up, don't say no, put the work in, because everyone else won't, but then they'll want the rewards from it, but you haven't done shit to prove it, which is also the John Cena mindset of like, never give up, hustle, loyalty, respect, like keep going. But I mean, a lot of people, again, want to be podcasters, but you and I do a podcast, and that's what the show is. It's two people getting together to talk about shit they like, and then kind of shit they don't like. If we're gonna, again, I like F9, but we spent a whole few weeks talking about that.
I mean, your shoot promo was hilarious. I'll say again, I'll never forget that day ever. I was in the drunken slump.
That's because you were like,
I woke up. Yeah, I was trying to no sell Henny, and I ended up. I couldn't. I had to do the job for Henny. Woke up in the middle of the night while I watched the SmackDown. I saw this man saying, "I am disappointed. I am upset." I'm like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Oh, God, that was real pain. They were racing through my mind in a Ford Mustang, and that shit drove off the cliff, and there was no magnet plane to catch it.
It was shot well. I'll just say that.
Not even that. No. I won't even go that far. It was mid-tier.
Tyrese was putting up numbers. That's it.
But that's one thing. Like today, and we'll tweet out links to, again, promos and matches at the BBD pod, because that's the only place you can find Banks, because he, snitched on himself of all people.
Hey,
was you.
it's fucking Josh.
Don't do that to Josh. No.
No, it was him. It's his fault. Don't fucking tell y'all. Well, I do want to be Ricochet now because of his woman, but that's besides the point.
Like I told you, he dumped that 7th grader.
Ricochet. No, he a legend now. But the problem is her little ass keep doing TikToks and videos with my woman. So now I gotta see her.
Stop to the TikTok. You don't quit
Look,
it.
I know that's your friend, baby, but just let her do her own.
Baby girl.
Me and you, I'm on TikToks now. Me and you can do TikToks.
That's where you can find Banks is fucking TikTok of all places. Only for him to get fed up, for him to be like, these hoes on TikTok driving me crazy.
Oh no, they not. Boy, they on there.
And like a month, I give it a month tops until you're like, I've had enough. I've had enough.
I'm right where I need to be on TikTok. They got them on there.
But if you didn't hear Black Announce Tables episode, like we listed some of our favorite episodes that we've done on the show. And like I made sure to on the prior episode that shout out to all the guests that have come through, to the guests that we haven't had yet. Like I said, I told this to Banks because doing BRP is like me doing the big Hollywood movie, and then doing the show with Banks is like the indie filmmaker getting the one for them, one for me. It's that aspect. I hope you see it as well. As like you and I will always get together to talk about something random and obscure that you haven't talked about other places, or again, to really do something like Fast Summer and today's episode, praising John Cena's greatness. And we could have gone on for more and more. And again, if you are so anti John Cena, just shut the fuck up, because he's the GOAT. I don't care what you say. Sorry, The Rock, you're second. Sorry, Stone Cold, you're third. It's just how it goes. But here's to another year of this show. It's had some amazing references that we've created, our own memes, but also just constantly, bringing up Mickey Free and Deckard Shaw, the My Way from WrestleMania X7, which I think has gotten elevated. I think you and I kind of amped that up a little bit, but that's something that always sticks in people's minds, that they legit sold one of the greatest highlight packages with this fucking Limp Bizkit song, and it's like phenomenal. But there's been other instances, again, Wild Wild West. Oh god, that really like broke my mind when that happened. The next day, I legit want to be like, I'm gonna, because again, I view myself as an outsider in this podcast game. I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna retreat back into my lair and never talk to anyone ever again, because that Wild Wild West shit, that should have been us with blowing up like that.
Fuck it, we ball though. That's why I don't never worry about numbers. The work speak for itself.
I mean, funny enough, we got numbers for the Buster brought me back.
That's good. 2 videos on there, so I was like, shit. Hopefully,
Still doesn't make sense.
Universal. Hey, y'all need to cut a check. Let us be in Fast and Furious 10. Y'all want acting? Bump that. 1.
Fuck it. I was right. Shit, I'll rewrite the whole mess that was Fast 9. Like, see, that was the real alternate reality.
The problem is, if we write it and they actually not about to do the time travel thing, I'm gonna do the time travel thing.
Where are you time traveling to?
1991.
Really? Why is that?
When the riots happened.
Okay, way to turn it to a dark direction.
We're gonna help him out. We're going to have Toretto come through, hit the police.
I think Dom Toretto would. Well, I mean, Vin Diesel would probably be on the side of the police, since he said he won't claim any type of lineage. He's one race.
He better one race his ass to the gym. Literally race to the gym.
You better one race my mind to the fucking
workouts. Start eating the pizza.
Oh, God. Again, when those pictures were released, I was like, I told y'all. You didn't listen. This motherfucker wears Spanx. He's fat.
He be having a joint. What's the thing women be having?
He's got the corset. Yeah.
Yeah. Be sucking at his gut, boy.
That's why he's talking like this, because he's like, I'm out of breath.
Dog. Get your ass in the gym, man.
That's why he goes from I already showed you mercy. That's why he goes, which
his blood pressure too high.
There'll be a series of episodes in that, I don't know, maybe within the next year of me doing a Mission Impossible commentary. but I already told Banks that Tom Cruise didn't invent it. He in the blockbuster category of film, he created the overacting with the my team is dead.
Right.
They knew, man. They knew we were coming. Just Vin Diesel saw that. I was like, damn. So that's how you act. And I'm not saying Tom Cruise is a bad actor. He's a great actor, but at that time he played that shit up. He's like, oh, I gotta grow. I'm showing up like Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton created, you know what, with the and his lights taken out because you want to get nuts. Come on, let's get nuts.
And they both the same height too. So
and then Jack Nicholson was like, what the fuck is this scene doing? Like, I'm the one in clown makeup. What the fuck is he doing? Like,
I'm the one in cocaine.
That and The Departed. Want some coke? And he just throws it at the ground.
That bro, he been having that since 90.
Yeah, he told the woman
since 85.
He told that woman, "Don't get up till you're numb."
That's just every Saturday night, even right now.
But
you see how he be at Laker games?
Well, he's like, "Where the fuck am I?
Yeah.
How'd I get here?"
Like it's like the play not even that bad, and he just losing his mind. I'm like, bro, that was a.
Forget about it, eh? I don't know why he's a type.
Foul.
Booby.
Oh, Saints of Newark come out tomorrow.
John Cena should have been Mario. He's Italian. I believe he is.
You want John Cena to say Mooly?
Imagine John Cena with a super fake mustache and the Mario outfit.
That's who should be doing the voice for Super Mario.
No. I'm saying do a live action Mario with John Cena as Mario, like Luigi.
But he should do the voice too. I feel you.
Not the voice. You know what? If he hosts SNL again, he has to do like a Mario skit because his SNL appearance, he had some pretty good skits, but he should have to do Mario or like I'm a plumber.
You won't be invited to Jersey. Well, not that part.
Well, I think that's a good way to end it too. Is John Cena probably, even though Boston's a shithole for people of they're racist. That's where they come from. John Cena is probably the best Bostonian of all time. He's not from Boston, but the best man from that area. Ben Affleck at number 2, but it's John Cena.
It's Westbury, bro. Like, where is Westbury? How far is that from Boston?
West Newbury.
That too. West
You
Newbury.
You combine both. He from, no matter if it's West Newbury, Blueberry, Lakers
That's
in
what
6.
I'm saying. I'm like, bro, man,
Cena in 7.
I'm from LA, bro.
I want every outhouse, in-house, doghouse, hen house. We are gonna find this man. John Cena doing that.
If they bring back U.S. Marshals, there you go.
No, I'm just saying. You can bring Edge, CM Punk, Orton, anybody. They're gonna put you over my shoulders, and then hey, that's how I'm putting you over.
And that's exactly what he did for 19 years, bro.
That's what was so good, at least because again, you and I were so fed up that he didn't eviscerate Roman Reigns like he did 4 years earlier. But when he did the 1, 2, 3, that was good because he's like, I'm known for just like beating people, and now it's your turn. But then I was like, nope.
It's like what we talked about, and we could probably end on that note. It was just like, we just know like he can't go all out, and then they
Not
did
just
like the
that,
last promo,
but again, I sit when Ben Affleck talks about Tom Brady, but I'm going to reiterate that like John Cena is so fucking classy. Again, he showed up to do the job. Vince McMahon asked him, will you do the job for Roman Reigns? And John Cena's like, yes, of course. You know why? Because he's a fucking professional. When someone like Bret Hart is asked to do a job, no, I can't do that. Vince, can't lose in Canada. It's a big time honor. But Bret, you go out on your back. Nope, I won't be putting Shawn Michaels over because that Bret Hart's a piece of shit asshole who's got an ego. But John Cena, no, classy, honorable man who does the job. That's how you know John Cena's the GOAT.
Get your shit off. Go ahead.
No, I'm saving that. Where I'm saving that for. Public
exactly.
Enemies, BRP. the debate to end all debates. Again, I'm gonna be like Tom Cruise in A Few Good Men. I'm gonna cut a full like, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if Bret Hart was such an honorable man, Exhibit A, Exhibit B. Like, you want to hear my promo? Don't miss. I'm just gonna be like, I'm showing up. I'm doing the Alec Baldwin, Glengarry, Glen Ross. Good father, go home, play with your kids. Like A, always B, B, C, closing, always be closing. I'm cutting that type of promo on Bret Hart. Like, fuck you. That's who I am.
That bullshit promo. All right, I feel you.
Nah, that shit's amazing. Come on.
That's that bullshit.
You know what it takes to sell real estate? It takes brass balls, gentlemen.
But he, now going back to Cena, you're right. He is very classy to do what he did. And he just know his place, man. Some people just know their
And
place.
he put over CM Punk Money in the Bank, Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam, Triple H countless times when it didn't need to. Randy Orton, yeah. Again, Roman Reigns in 2017 and again this year.
He knows his place in history, bro. Like, sometimes you just do it just because it's like, bro, I have nothing else to prove.
Exactly. But to wrap it up, like I said, the show, it's been an amazing journey. If it were to end tomorrow, I'd be happy with the work that you and I have done together. Again, just two people that barely knew each other to get to where we are now. It's something special. And again, we kind of reiterated it at the Black Announce Table on their Patreon, but it's something that I never thought I'd be doing. I thought I'd just be done after one BRP appearance. That was like, maybe I should try to start another podcast while I got this momentum. I thought I had something and I didn't want to, in terms of a shot, and I didn't want to waste it. But I've done this numerous episodes. Like I said, I'll be most proud of our Fast Summer journey, which is something I've been wanting to do forever. And I will take that. That'll be like on my list of accolades of what's most important. But can hear some more episodes, more new guests, hopefully in the future. And there was always topics that I can talk about. 2000s movies and music will be on the horizon. Edge versus Christian, Will Smith. There's always something that you and I will get together to talk about, which is why you should subscribe if you aren't already to Banks versus Davis on Apple, Spotify. Stay away from YouTube because they're just telling us, nope, we ain't letting you get this off. So,
well, this episode will be fine, but yeah, go to the other streaming platforms.
I'd say audio is where our strength is.
Yeah.
But yeah, most importantly, recommend, share, rate, review. We'll appreciate it, even the negative ones, because we'll just tell you go fuck yourself.
Absolutely.
But again, Banks, anything you want to say after doing the show for a year? Because again, we missed out last Saturday was the official anniversary, but we're recording this on a Thursday, which, funny enough, is International Podcast Day. Even though I hate all those bullshit, it's International this day. I'm always like, pizza day. Bitch, I eat pizza any day. Get the fuck out of here.
It's International do some fucking work day every day. I don't give a fuck. Even on Christmas, do some damn work. That's International Day. Hard work and dedication. No, just, man, I appreciate you. I appreciate all the guests that have come through. I'm not a man of speeches. I just say hard work and dedication. I'm just going to keep going. We just going to keep going. You know what I mean? That's it. That's all I can tell people. Hey, man, keep fucking working. Don't worry about today.
I looked at you, and I said, you strong? They looked at me and said, we strong. I looked at them and said, okay, we strong then. That's probably the greatest speech. I would like to see like the actual footage of like, even though it doesn't exist, but like of him. Maybe he cut that from. Maybe that didn't actually happen. It's just a fake promo. But like the real time camera, him being like, "We strong, like again, phenomenal promo. That's as good as like with my fingernails for that inch.
You gotta scratch.
Yeah. But that's again, as like John says, I'm John Cena. That's who I am.
And slapped the shit out of Kurt Angle, and the rest is history.
Said, bitch, go eat some fucking perks after this.
He definitely did it. If that man open hand slap you, you might have to go ahead and take him.
Food so good, make you want to slap your mama.
John Cena barbecue coming soon.
Oh shit. John Cena and John Witherspoon. That would have been a good combo.
Bruh, that's funny. Thinking about that, you got to coordinate, John, because they both wear them loud ass suits.
Yeah. I'm just because I saw I think not BRPM, Public Enemies posted the bang bang bang. I think John Cena, if John Cena was the other member, like if they did a duet, John Cena with like the Vanilla Ice fake hair on.
What's that in your head?
Yeah.
What's that? Is that a perm? That shit would have been hilarious. Anything they would have did would have been hilarious.
Oh god. But again, stay tuned in at the BBD Pod. Again, we'll be tweeting out these matches, even though these are kind of some known matches, but maybe we'll tweet out some forgotten ones that we weren't able to touch on. Look at the John Cena match, list of matches that he's had, and that, you know, if you want to watch it on that piece of shit service Peacock, again, fuck anyone who said broke boys at Peacock. Bitch, I'm saving money. They ain't getting all my fucking $9. They getting that $4.99. That's it.
Whoever hears me, I feel bad that you on Peacock.
But again, YouTube, Day of the Motion, there's probably other sites where we'll direct them to, but and promos as well, and post some pictures like how I did about promoting it with the fits, some iconic images of the. Again, we didn't even talk about the spinner belt real quick. Favorite title of all time is the John Cena spinner belt, and the US one's now underrated because the whole fucking thing spun.
Mm-hmm.
But that and the necklace too, the chain gang necklace. I mean, damn. I can maybe see that was maybe more of a culture vulture. I'll admit that because that was something of that time. But it stopped spinning after like 2008, I think.
It's spinning.
But yeah, I was like, what else were we forgetting? Yeah, the spinner belt. And all the memes from there was the one time where I said I'm going to show up first post-COVID fit as me, and the John Cena drafted a Raw gear. And then the 4th of July is the John Cena with the US spinner belt gear and the All-Star jersey. But he's got a bunch of dope fits and all that. That's the original Trip God of WWE.
You just got to look for that shit.
All right. Well, the Mitchell Ness still exists. That's where that I'm still tempted to buy that Moses Malone jersey just so I can have that. But that's enough talking for now. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.